called the Sci-Fi London Film Festival, since fiction is actually, I don't know if you know this, is part of science fiction. So I've been wondering, like, why does that make sense? Why would we be here? And in just talking to so many of the friends that I've made throughout the years here at the festival, and people who love science fiction, the answer was really quite clear to me. The people who love this genre are people who love ideas of what it means to be human, of what our place is in the universe, stories that talk about how each of our unique and individual beauty is important. From stories that are utopian in nature, that show what kind of world we could create if we could take what each and every one of us has to offer and build from that, or dystopian visions that warn us about what won't happen or what could happen if we cut out that kind of diversity, because our strength truly is in our diversity. That, I think, is the truth that's in here. You will also find the truth is out there. Please enjoy the film, and Dean and I will be up here to talk afterwards. Thank you. Brought this. Two of our fans made these for us to wear, so I'll let you pick which one you want. One says, "The truth is out there, it's just not indexed very well." And the other says, "The truth is out there, we'll let it back in when it sobers up." I'll take that one.
That's very sweet.
Wow, I don't even begin to know where to start having watched that. Dude.
That's why you got to buy the DVD. That's what you watch.
80 minutes of bonus features. Thank you.
Thank you. That was all his editing, too.
By the way, can we say something really quick? We have a couple people that we would like to introduce. I don't know where they're sitting, but Mark Bennett, who
Mark Bennett was in there?
Was in the film, the journalist who spoke about orgonite and pressurized ozone. Why don't you stand up and let people
There's Mark Bennett.
Mark Bennett, thank you. And a fabulous author and researcher and actor. Talking about Robin Tudge. Where are you, Robin? Stand up.
Covered a lot of ground.
We sure did.
You spoke to a lot of people.
How
have your lives personally changed from the information you've learned? What are you doing differently? How are you going about, how are you processing all of that information?
I made a 2.5-hour documentary. I can't. For 2 years.
I gave my organite to a friend.
Okay.
Put it in the planter.
And what happened?
The plant died. That may be a question of the gardening skills.
Although, no, but also you had said that they didn't believe it, and
yeah, that's true.
They didn't believe it, and as Mark says, it may just be a tool for intention, and if your intention is
this is crap
expressed through your disbelief, then that might be what you manifest to a greater degree.
Killed the plant with your own disbelief.
Yeah. That's true.
I would say this about how it changed me. I will not lie and say that it was fun making this film. This was the hardest work that I've ever done. It also is no doubt the most rewarding, and now the fun starts because now I get to meet people again. You know, I get out of the 1-year editing phase. But it was really challenging because you know, there are so many different voices in the film, and the challenge really was you know, how do you combine all this footage? How do you put it in this way that structures it and makes sense of it? And all these intellectual ideas you have when you start to edit something. And what the biggest piece that I came to was that really my job to protect the trust that everyone gave us was to simply honor all the voices in the film. And what I came away from that was, boy, if I can honor all the voices in the film, maybe someday I'll get to the point where I can honor all the voices that are within me.
In your head.
Yeah, or my heart. And
whatever.
Yeah. and not need to choose between the contradictions, but as I think Dean embodies very well as he goes out into the world, to really be able to hold all the possibilities. I mean, this was his background. I started with this with an idea because I found it fascinating on so many levels that someone who did train as an improv comic and as a dancer, painter, would not only become successful on this television series, but become so closely identified with this role and with this world of conspiracy. And I thought there has to be some reason that it's him, of all the people on the show, that it's him that has continued to traverse this world. And really, I watched that film and I say, well, of course it's him, because his improv training is one of the things that gave him the tools needed to navigate that world, because everything he does in comedy is about holding all the possibilities.
Right.
Because that's what
who saw our
improvisation
improv show, you get random input, and your improv training demands that you hold all of these things in your mind at the same time and listen to your fellow performer, so that when she says something close to, oh yeah, that's what we have to get to, that you can then maneuver the whole scene, and and you bring it all together, and you just have to, it's sort of like lateral thinking instead of linear thinking, that you'll think laterally, and that's how you can sort of hold this all together.
You talked about the importance of listening in it, and one of the things that really came through for me when we were shooting it even was how, I don't know how many people are familiar with all the experts that were in this or not, but what really came through was how much of a different side of these people came through in just sitting down and talking to Dean, in knowing that they were just being listened to, that they didn't have to become strident, that they didn't have to try to prove anything, that, and I just, if such a thing as a wish could accompany a film, it would be nice if one of the things that came out of this was we were all reminded again that, believing someone is the easiest thing you can do, and listening to them is the easiest thing you can do. And if we just listened to each other, we wouldn't all have to yell so much, and then we could actually start hearing. And it sounds so silly, but it really is powerful to just see how these people are affected by you listening to them.
That's weird.
Because I think so many of us get used to just not being listened to. So we've got to shout what our truth is.
Right.
Because we know it's very
And it's funny, because for me, I thought, okay, we just shot a year of footage, holy crap. And the idea was that we went out and we were going to ask people, what is truth? How do you know you found the truth? And how do you know your truth is right when that guy over there says you're full of shit? And, so it's like, how do you reconcile all of that? So that was the thing. And then at the end of it, Phil was looking at the footage. I hadn't seen it. I go, wow, it's too bad we never answered that. And he goes, no, we totally did.
Yeah, I hoped that from the outset that we would be able to answer what does it mean to search for the truth in a world where conspiracy or conspiracy theories are everywhere.
What? Business as usual. Yes, thank Mark. That's right. They're not conspiracy theories. It's business as usual.
So exactly, what does it mean to search for the truth where there are businesses
as usual.
or conspiracy theories everywhere? And I see an answer, and the answer looks very much like Dean Haglund.
He's the truth. Yeah, the truth.
It means to engage in all of this that's going on around you with a sense of fun and gratitude for all of it. And that's what's always been, I think one of the most admirable things that I've learned about Dean is that, he really does take that comedic skill that he has to hold all the possibilities, and really that's how he walks through the world, is saying yes to things.
For those of you who listen to our podcast weekly, this is nothing like the show, by the way. We bicker like a 40-year-old married couple. I call him a dick all the time. I don't know what the hell
You also say that I'm your heterosexual life partner.
Yeah, that's a little. Chill Back Hollywood Hour. Listen to it by name.